So different people do these notches in different ways, and what I'll do is I'll demonstrate two different methods. I've drawn this line to make it nice and clear, and no matter which method I use, I always start in the same way. So I'll show you that. What I do is I redraw these lines with the chainsaw. So I'll show you what I mean. So with that done, the reason for that is that now it's much easier to see. Sometimes the lines can be quite faint, especially as I don't usually overdraw them. It's easy to see, and the edges are already cut, which means that once I get this bulk of wood out and I'm shaping, the chainsaw is not going to rip these edges too much. Now, the first method I'll show you is an easy method, doesn't require much skill, and you'll see it demonstrated in lots and lots of videos online, as this is how you're meant to do it. Now, I disagree. It's a system that I very, very rarely use anymore, but it is nice and easy. And that is simply to cut in several places throughout the notch. It breaks the grain. You can then, with a hammer or axe or some other tool, break all that stuff out, and then you can shape the notch. Now, there are reasons why I don't like this method, and I can show you those reasons easiest if I actually just start doing it, and then you'll see. So halfway through the notch now, and you've maybe noticed one of the reasons why I don't like this, and that is that at the deepest part of the notch, you need to be seeing both of these lines at the same time, and that means leaning over, and I don't like leaning over a spinning blade. It's very unlikely that you'd get a kickback at this point, but safety-wise, that just intuitively feels bad. That's one reason. I'll show you the next reason I don't like it in a minute. So once those are cut, and here is the second reason I don't like it. when I'm walking around a log, chainsawing and concentrating, I don't like things being under my feet. So we're doing this, you've got to continually be clearing things up, otherwise you step on them and stuff. And now you have the third reason why I don't like it. I'm now going to have to shape this, and as I do, I'm going to have to move the chainsaw this way, and these steps make that really quite awkward. The benefit of this system requires very little skill, and you're unlikely to make any big mistakes, but it's just not for me. But I'll show you how it works anyway. So that's that notch done. Takes quite a long time to do it this way because there's a lot of shaping to do. I think I've nearly used a whole tank of fuel. So it's slow, but it is sure. You're not going to make any drastic mistakes doing it this way. So I did put this in here so that just to give you an option, because the method I use is a bit more technical. You can make mistakes, but it's my preferred method. Now, in both cases, this is what you're aiming for. This shape. Notice I haven't gone all the way to the edge, so there's a decent amount of wood sitting on the log underneath, but you've got nearly a centimetre gap here. You're looking for that shape, and that should be, you can check it like this. I've got a centimetre here, a centimetre here, and there are several reasons for that. It's one of the most basic things in log building. You probably already know that. Interestingly enough, when I first got interested in log building, I went and visited a log builder. I was hoping for some kind of apprenticeship, and I saw him working, and one of the first questions I asked was, why haven't you cut that flat? Why is it like that? And that is such a basic part of log building that he just said, look, I think you need to go and do a log building course or something. Because if I didn't know that, then I obviously didn't know anything. But there are several reasons for this shape, which I'll explain in a little while. Now, I've got to do the rest of this log, and then one more, and then I'll have another log around about the same size as this, so I'll show you my method on a similar log, so that there's some context. Okay, I've got to get some work done now. So that's 25. And 26.5, hardly any difference. Perfect. You can also just check 52. 46, okay. So I could actually lift this end by a little bit. Doesn't matter too much with this building because the front of the building is going to be using the standing log system. Obviously, if this was a building where the walls went all the way around and met, then if you had too much of a drop here, maybe again, you could end up not meeting up good at the other end. Doesn't matter too much with this, but I'll lift this up by 1 centimeter anyway. I try and get it so it's roughly level with the spirit level. It doesn't need to be perfect, and if it is higher at one end, it should be the big end of the log, not the small end. Because the next log that goes on this wall has to be the other way around, with the big end at this end and the small end at that. So there you can make up that height difference. I'll find some kind of spacer that I can put in here to lift this up 1 centimeter. So these are the decisions that you kind of have to do all the way through. This is lower than this. And so what I'm going to do to try and get the levels back up to equal is I'm putting a small log on this side, which I'm going to drop by, I think, about 11 centimeters. This one is an oversized log. It's a bit bigger than we need, but obviously that gives us the height. And I'm going to drop this one a bit more, but it's still going to be ending up at the same height as this. If I had that size of log on here, and I dropped them, and I dropped that one enough so it's got a good size lateral notch which is the groove on the underside. Then to get this one to the same height, I would have to drop it so little that we wouldn't have that good lateral notch. But using an oversized one, I can drop this down, have a good notch, and get to the same level on both logs. So I'm going to draw both of these and then I'll get them cut. Almost forgot to recheck the log scriber.